It's that time. Harvest.
You guys, everyone wants me to cry today. No way. Oh.
Ever seen a basketball star get emotional over someone else's success? Well, A'ja Wilson just did. The WNBA champion was in tears, but not for the reason you'd expect. It's all
I was like in tears, y'all.
because of Caitlin Clark's upcoming jersey retirement announcement. Might be wondering, what's the big deal? Don't players have their jerseys retired all the time? Not like this. Clark's retirement ceremony is already making waves and it hasn't even happened yet. Wilson's fans are crying foul, claiming Iowa purposely planned the event to steal the spotlight. But what spotlight? It's unlikely Iowa even knew when South Carolina was planning Wilson's ceremony, especially since she graduated. Nearly a decade ago. We've got the facts, timeline, and fan reactions that tell a different story. Let's dive into why Wilson's tears are flowing and how Clark is once again rewriting the playbook for women's basketball. February 2, 2025. Mark that date on your calendar, because it's about to become legendary in women's basketball. 2 players, 2 jersey retirements, but only one star is stealing the show. Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson, both
Iowa taking on USC and Juju Watkins, nationally televised game, I believe. February 2nd, 2-2, so it's 22. Everything about it lines up.
game changers in their own right, are set to have their jerseys retired on the same day, but that's where the similarities end. Clark's ceremony at Iowa is creating a frenzy, far overshadowing Wilson's South Carolina event. Iowa's game against USC, featuring rising star Juju Watkins, will be nationally televised on February 2, 2025. The numbers are mind-blowing. The cheapest ticket to Clark's jersey retirement costs a staggering $711, making it the priciest.
But that is a supply and demand thing, especially in today's day and age where there's no such thing as a sellout, right? Where you can go to any event you want as long as you're willing to pay for it because of the secondary ticket market.
Ticket in women's college basketball history. For comparison, that's more expensive than the cheapest ticket to an NBA Finals game. Want the best seats? Prepare to shell out over $8,000. Meanwhile, Wilson's ceremony? You can grab a seat for just $25. That's not a typo, the price difference is over 28 times higher for Clark's event. Social media is buzzing with reactions. This isn't just about ticket prices, it's a seismic shift in women's basketball. We're seeing demand at levels.
I'm leading scorer in women's college basketball.
I think just all her dreams came true right then and there, and that's what she worked for. I mean, she's put all blood, sweat, and tears into this sport, and I think it finally paid off.
Previously unimaginable. Clark's last home game set records with tickets.
One of the sentiments that was expressed was, oh, it's the same day as A'ja Wilson's, how could you do it? First of all, I remember them announcing A'ja Wilson was getting her jersey retired, but I didn't remember the date or anything. When the Clark news broke, I didn't think about A'ja Wilson. And again, as is the case with Caitlin Clark, this only is going to bring more attention to A'ja Wilson's jersey retirement.
Selling for $450, which now seems like a bargain compared to her upcoming retirement ceremony. What we're witnessing is Clark single-handedly reshaping the landscape of women's basketball. She's not just breaking records on the court, she's shattering expectations off it. Clark has become a cultural icon, drawing in fans who may have never before watched a women's basketball game. But hold on tight, this story is far from over. What's the response from Wilson and her camp? As ticket prices for Clark's ceremony skyrocket, a different kind of inflation is brewing online outrage. Wilson's fans aren't just upset, they're convinced there's a conspiracy at play. But what if the real story is even more surprising than they think? The social media.
Yes, Clark did get a standing ovation when Iowa's athletics director announced that the university will retire her number 22
that number
jersey.
holds a lot of weight, far beyond my name, and I guess I'm just really grateful, and it'll be a special day when that happens for sure. Thank you. It's been very special, and this place will always be home to me.
Media storm began when Wilson's supporters cried foul over the timing of Clark's jersey retirement. One fan tweeted bluntly, "Why would y'all retire her jersey on the same day as Asia? Are y'all stupid?" This sentiment was echoed across platforms.
First of all, there's nothing wrong with two schools retiring respective jerseys on the same day. But secondly, if you wanted the focus to be on Asia Wilson, she'll probably get more attention as the second, most recognized jersey retirement of that day than she would have if she had the stage all to herself on that day.
With Wilson's fanbase feeling like their idol was being overshadowed by Clark's growing phenomenon. But here's the twist: the timeline of these announcements tells a different story. Iowa didn't just randomly choose the date for Clark's jersey retirement. They announced their plans on April 11, 2024, right after the NCAA championship game. South Carolina didn't announce their plans for Wilson's jersey retirement until October 2024, creating a 6-month gap between their announcement and Iowa's. Asia's fans argue that if they're not fans of Caitlin Clark, why should they worry about Iowa overshadowing Wilson's moment? Why can't both players be celebrated on the same day?
And South Carolina waited years and years to retire Asia's jersey.
So, why are Wilson's fans so convinced that Iowa is trying to steal South Carolina's thunder? It all boils down to the explosive growth of Clark's popularity. Iowa's athletic director, Beth Gatz, put it simply, Clark's achievements have left a lasting impact on the university and women's basketball. They weren't reacting to Wilson's announcement, they were celebrating their own superstar. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why did it take South Carolina so long to honor Wilson? One fan pointed out the obvious.
And then there was, Iowa is rushing this. They're rushing, or everything is rushed with Caitlin Clark. No, she just did things faster and garnered more attention and more notoriety and celebrity and celebration and popularity.
Why did it take a decade for South Carolina to retire Asia's jersey? How is that Iowa's fault? It's a valid question. Wilson graduated in 2018, and it's taken until 2025 for her alma mater to retire her number. That delay isn't on Iowa, it's on South Carolina. Some conspiracy theories have been circulating, with some of Wilson's supporters suggesting that Iowa deliberately chose the date to overshadow Asia's moment. But think about it, Iowa picked a date that coincides with a high-profile game against USC, featuring rising star Juju Watkins. This game was already scheduled to be nationally televised, and Clark's jersey has been hanging in Carver Hawkeye Arena for months. Everyone knew it was coming. How could Iowa possibly know when Wilson's ceremony would be?
They announced Caitlin Clark was getting her jersey retired last spring. This is not something that just sprung up on everybody. Thirdly, of course they're going to do it in a high-profile game that a lot of people are going to see that happens to match up with the numerology.
No one knew about it until Clark made her announcement. This isn't about stealing anyone's spotlight, it's about maximizing exposure for women's basketball as a whole.